Coming to you live from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Down here, that Merry Christmas, they say. I want to let you know that this is many years ago, I was trying to go to an orgy in Los Angeles. Like a sex orgy. And they made you audition to go to it. And I went to the audition, and they said that I didn't have nice enough calves. That I don't have, I guess basically my calves, my cavalry, isn't welcome at a group fuck, if you will, at group sex. And that kind of, you never really get that no out of your system. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Let's get into it. You know what? Let's try this one. There we go. Take you back to church, See a little hottie across church. Wink at her or him if he's, if you're really thinking wild. All right. You'd think I'd have a better intro here at Christmas time, here on the holiday, but I do not. Welcome to this past weekend. I'm Theo Vaughn. I am going to be, getting us through it. And I'm coming to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In case you hear something in the background, if you hear a couple of alligators kind of, talking to each other like this, or if you hear maybe a little crawdad kind of, pinching his cousin, or if you hear somebody who can't, maybe somebody who can't read or write very good, but they still got a big smile on their face, then that might be the background of Louisiana behind me, soaking into this microphone. Man, Louisiana is something else. It's something else. It's one of the 50 states. It is, it has one of the largest ports in the world along the Mississippi River. Tom and Huck stayed here. Jim, darker Jim, and Tom and Huck and Mark Twain. Remember that? What else? A lot of great stuff here in New Orleans and in Louisiana. I'm down here in Baton Rouge spending time with my family. But yeah, I tried to go to an orgy one time in New Orleans, in Los Angeles, a long time ago. And they said I didn't have nice enough calves. You had to really, I guess you had to look a certain way. And man, I never forget that. I never forget that. I don't have that body. I don't have the body that's welcome at a group fuck, I got that one-on-one fucking body. And that, as a man, it never really escapes you. So, Merry Christmas. This will be Christmas Eve. Today it's Christmas Eve. I want to remind you that the King and the Sting podcast starts tomorrow. And that'll be on its own unique YouTube and audio channel, podcast channel. It's a trial episode. So, we have some different elements and stuff in there that we're just practicing with, and we're going to learn as we go. And please check it out on YouTube if you get a chance, and let us know your constructive criticisms, and you can see some of the visual effects and whatnot. But good to be here, and joy to the world. It's nice to be here in the South and, around the holidays and just be around the family. And today, everybody, we did Christmas today. And everybody was running around and opening gifts, and they had a dog. Somebody came from Utah, and they brought a dog. And they had 2 cats here, one of them named Minnow. And that's got to be alarming when you think about it to a cat, because cats love fish. If you had to think of, if you offered a cat 5 different things, if you granted a cat 5 wishes, 5 of the wishes would be fish, all 5 of them. So when you name a cat after a fish, that's torturous, really. It's really a torturous thing to do, and they did that to this small cat. And they had various cats at the Christmas we did today, various cats. What else? It reminded me of joy to the world. It's a good time. Now's the time of year when you can hug somebody. If you see somebody and they look like they haven't been hugged, or, like their breath stinks or whatever, or they just need a little pick-me-up, go hug them. Put your hand on their back while you're talking to them. Maybe whistle a tune when you walk past their desk at work. Maybe whistle a tune. Whistle something. Throw a little joy over by them. Write joy on a piece of paper and ball it up and throw it at them. And when they open it up, what's there? Sheer joy. Written out joy. It's just that time of year when you can touch another person on the face that you don't know, lightly, and say, I wish you well, brother. I wish you well, sister. I hope that the joy finds you. I hope the little baby of the Lord crawls into your heart and lays eggs of happiness and joy. It's that time of year. Go tickle somebody. Go tickle a motherfucker, honestly. I hate to use that language at this time of year, but go tickle a motherfucker. Because humans are one of the few animals that have the ability to jumpstart our own joy. And that's by tickling. Some animals, you see them, are different, species. They can't do anything. If they want to laugh, they have no recourse. They have no way to start that up themselves. You know what I'm saying? If you see a little, chimpanzee outside, well, they smile a lot. They smile. But if you see a different type of animal, an aardvark, a raccoon, an opossum, those motherfuckers ain't finding any joy. But imagine if you could go up and squeeze their sides and they started to laugh. Well, humans are the only species that have that built into them that we know of. So utilize that. Tickle somebody you love. Touch them, baby. Touch that little motherfucker. And make somebody feel good. Make somebody kickstart that joy. When I was young, we played. When I was young, I remember tickling was fun, but also, in our family, we was dangerous. And if somebody, especially if you had, this is a dark episode for Christmas, but when I was young, if you had a little bit of diarrhea, diarrhea. When your booty's trying to attack you from from everywhere, when your booty is angry at you. And if you had some of that when I was young, you wouldn't tell my brothers and sisters because they would try to tickle you. Because we had this thing in our house where if somebody had the big D, then other people would try to tickle them and make them real active and make them, lose it right there. So that was a very nefarious time. If you had it, you had to keep it a secret. So you had to be real secretive. And it's hard to have that, to possess that demon, that body demon, and also be secretive. Because I mean, honestly, having diarrhea is kind of the opposite of keeping a secret. You know? Diarrhea doesn't want to be a secret, if you know that or not. But happy holidays to you guys. What's going on? I got here came into New Orleans. We got the show on the 26th. Everybody's pretty keyed up. And I came into to the airport here, and they're building a new airport finally in New Orleans. I mean, the international airport here is one where, it makes you, when you get here, it makes you want to get back on a plane and go somewhere else right when you get to the airport. Very dirty. Hasn't been mopped, I feel like, in decades probably. It's that type of environment. It almost seems unmoppable. Like if you put a mop on the floor would just kind of chuckle at you. It just kind of has that sort of environment. But got into town, stayed in New Orleans, went to a party. Now I went to a party. A friend of mine had a party. And he went to a party, and he invited me. And I'm called a +1 at that point. They call you a +1. And the party, man, I'll be honest with you, not everybody at the party, but 92% of the party were homoerotic men. And I mean, look, some of them beautiful, some of them okay looking. But, dude, it was just one of those things where I couldn't barely eat or look around the room really without locking eyes with a real bad boy. And sometimes, man, I feel like a gay guy can see all your secrets if they're looking at you. And that makes me feel sometimes kind of wild, And here's the thing. The main appetizer they had, soup. So, man, you trying to get some soup down, and you got to put your lips out a little bit to get soup. Because soup is one of those things you almost have to meet it halfway. Some things you can just, whatever, but soup, you gotta make that little duck with your mouth and get out there and meet it halfway. And then at the end, they had a tray of sweets, like a sweet area. And it was a bunch of cream puffs. And I don't know if you've ever had cream puffs. It's cream basically hiding inside of a little bit of dough. And if you didn't know them, if you weren't familiar with cream puffs, you wouldn't know the cream was in them. Somebody has to tell you almost, hey, there's cream in there. And then you open one up or you bite into it and there is cream. But, man, I had to go up over to that dessert area, and they had a flock of dudes around that deal. And I got no issues with gay men, you know what I'm saying? I might be gay when I'm 70 or 80 or 90 or 100 and, or something, or 70. But, it's still, I'm a guy, so I know what guys are thinking about. And if I go by a guy and I'm trying to get a couple of cream puffs in me real quick without them noticing, but dude, a man can't eat a cream puff around a gay man without that man noticing. I mean, it's almost like he could hear every bite. And man, it was just tough. I've never been on Fear Factor, but I had about 9 cream puffs and there was a whole circle of gay men right there. And it was hard to swallow, brother. It was just a lot of different levels going on, levels. But I want to thank you guys for being here with me today. What's going on? The football, the Saints beat Pittsburgh. And I'm sorry about that game. Honestly, I love my Saints, but I also think that the referees made some bad calls in that one. I'll say that any day of the week. And that's it, man. I'm down here for the holidays. I'm just, I went for a run today. They have a big lake down here. I don't know what it's called, but I don't think it has a name. It's just called, just a lake. But it's huge, and you can run around it. You could walk around it or do anything. You could do anything around it, but what I did today was run around it, and it's nice out there, and they got all kind of animals out there. You see a little raccoon on the side of it eating a little fish or something, having a little piece of trout or a little, cut a gar or a little fillet, or a little tilapia. Dude, where did tilapia come from? Remember, dude, when I was young, they had like 3 types of fish. Catfish, sharks, what else? Tarpon. Suddenly, like 6 years ago, they got tilapia. Like, what the heck? Then it's like, now they got a new fish called wee fish or something. It's like OUI or QUE or QUI. Like, what is that? Like, where are they finding new fish at? I mean, it's like, do we live in a Dr. Seuss book? How they suddenly just finding a new fish? So it just, that's the thing. I guess things always have to be new, but they're always, like I noticed the other day, I'm at the Starbucks, and they say the sous vide, they got little eggs in there or something, and they say that the way they cook them is sous vide. And when I knew growing up, this lady named Sous Vide was this lady that lived about probably 3 doors down from us. She was an alcoholic. And she drove a Crest toothpaste blue Trans Am. And she'd come home and get drunk and just go lay out on the top of that thing. Have a couple cigarettes. She'd have her skirt on, bro, but nothing under that thing, And she was just... she was sex ed. She was sex education wrapped up into a person. But that made her feel something, if you have a 6-pack and lay on top of a damn Trans Am and have you a couple cigarettes and you got a skirt on, but they ain't much else on. Except a little, maybe you just wearing a couple of inklings of the devil, then that's a statement. Everybody want to act like, if somebody's out there tramping or doing this or that's all they are. But that's a real statement if you ask me. That's a real statement if you ask me. Man, it's the end of the year. It goes fast, huh? I'm kind of all over the place today, but I don't want to take up a ton of you guys' time, it's Christmas. And I want us all to spend time with our families and think of joy and think of good times. And don't tickle anybody if they got diarrhea, bro. That was the worst part. Because here's the thing. In my house, like, if you had it, first of all, you had to tell mom. Because you wanted to get better. Mom had medicine. She had, an ice pack or something. I said, because I grew up in a place, they didn't even have a ton of medicine when I was young. I remember if you had real bad diarrhea at school, they'd put you in a like an ice bucket, like an ice tub with water in there. Dude, what the huh? But they said the pressure from the water with the ice in it, your body doesn't want to expel, duty, body dirt, body dirty. It doesn't want to blow that body dirty out of your body because the cold water, the pressure from it will keep you from doing that. So I guess sometimes that can like bring down your temperature, and I guess that was something that would help. But when I got older, they had, amoxicillin, different pills, different types of pills and pillatry. So anyhow, I got that diarrhea, and you had to sneak to mom's room, and you had to tell mom secretively. And sometimes I would just write it down, because if anybody heard you, dude, my siblings, if any one of us had it, the other ones would come and just tickle the fuck out of them. Oh, you got diarrhea, boy? Then you about to, and man, it's a powerful moment when you are laughing uncontrollably. When you're doing things uncontrollably out of 2 parts of your body. It's a very moving experience. It's kind of like Man versus Wild a little bit, if you've ever seen that show. It's like that, but it's just you and your body, and somebody's tickling you. What else? Oh, I watched a show on Netflix. I think everybody's watching this. It's called The Innocent Man, and it's about, it's about some dudes that's allegedly innocent. And it talks about being just like if you spent death row or you spent your life in prison. I don't know what I would do if I was in prison. You know, one of my friends the other day said that he missed being in prison because he missed the structure of it. And I could see that a little bit. Like, I could go to a nice prison. You know, if people are friendly, if there's like a pickup league, if they have dessert sometimes, I could go to something like that. And if they had a gym or a workout area or something, a place you could get a little bit of sunshine, those are things I could deal with. But I think if it was something beyond that, man, it'd be too much for me, I don't want to be in a gang. I don't want to get fucking cut open. I don't want to fight a bunch of Mexican or black dudes, really, or angry, white supremacists. I guess I couldn't handle it probably. But if it were like a kind of a chill, I would love like the camaraderie, the teamwork, kind of working in one of the shops. I love arts and crafts. It's basically like kindergarten, but people are fighting a lot, I would guess. But yeah, if you get to watch this show, The Innocent Man on Netflix, it's pretty good, man. I love these murder shows. I love these investigations into old crimes, buried treasure. You guys know I love all of that. Amulets. I mean, damn. For my honeymoon, if I ever get married, I want to go looking for buried treasure. If I ever get married. So we'll see what God has in store for me. But Merry Christmas to you guys, and a Happy New Year. I'm going to play a couple of calls that came in.
Hi, Theo. My name is Christy, and I am from Waterloo, Iowa. I'm sorry, I can't stop smiling.
Oh, hello. Thank you for calling, Christy. And I love Iowa. It's the only state that has 75% of the name of the state is vowels. Onward.
I just wanted to call and tell you about my weekend because it was truly just the best weekend ever. And I'm just so happy. So on Friday, this past weekend, my boyfriend and I celebrated 5 years of being a couple. And we also both graduated from college. So he graduated with his master's in occupational therapy, and I graduated with my associate's degree in culinary arts.
Oh, congratulations. That's teamwork right there. You guys sound like you're really attacking the world together as individuals, but also as teammates. So congratulations on that. Onward.
I'm sorry. I'm like shaking. I'm so nervous. And
I get nervous too, especially if I have what, and I'm trying to tell my MOM about it, and my brothers and sisters are feeling like tickling. Onward.
On Saturday, we had a big party for celebrating our graduations, and we had all of our family and friends there, and he proposed to me. And so, yeah, we're getting married, and I can't wait, and it's just going to be the best thing ever. So we're also moving across the country from Iowa to Portland, Oregon.
Wow.
So that's coming up here in the next 10 days, and we're so excited to start that new adventure now.
Wow, you guys. Well, congratulations first and foremost. That is quite a weekend. And I feel like you're calling from like 1910 or 1930 or something, or 1890. You guys just finished school, you're getting married, and now you're moving across the plains, all within the next 10 days. That's an adventure, man. That's a lot of adventure at once. And that's a lot of adventure at once. But you sound like you're filled with joy, and that's the time. This is the time of year to have that, and you got it. And I appreciate you calling and sharing a little bit of that with us. There's a lot of lonely, stray dudes listening to this podcast, including me. I usually listen to it. So to know that there's a hope out there of finding a gal, getting her educated, and getting her out to Oregon, to work on a weed farm or whatever plan you guys have. That's beautiful. That's truly beautiful. And thank you for calling, and congratulations to you guys on your nuptials. Let's take another call right here that came in. The hotline, and I want to refine this a little. That this call, I was listening to some old episodes, and if you're a man who is struggling with something, you got something on your mind or on your heart or even on your nuts, really. Not on the outside like that a dermatologist needs to see, but something, that just keeps kind of just nudging the inside of your nuts. You can call me, and you can hit the hotline with it, because I've been down some dark roads, Daddy. Okay? I've been in the shade. I've been in the shadows. All right? I got moonburned from some dirty nights. And I want to tell you that if you're willing to share something and I can relate to it, I'm happy to share my experience and my strength and hope with you. The number, as always, is 985-664-9503. That could be any man who's struggling with, maybe you're caught up in some lies. You've been doing crime. You are, you having sexual issues, sexual dysfunction or malfunction. You just got a cat. You're thinking about getting a cat and you don't want to tell anybody. Anything, menthol, whatever, recipes, whatever you need, I am here for you. And this is a safe place for you and for me. And that's 985-664-9503. Let's take this call.
Theo Vaughn calling in about the 23-year-old who wants to know what he should do about the 39-year-old who keeps sexting him and her husband is paralyzed. Bruh.
Oh, yes. Thank you. This call came in last week. We had a young man who has been sexting with an older woman, and the older woman's husband is paralyzed, locked down, a little chair daddy. And the wife wants to do sex with the younger boy, and he's of age. He's not illegal. And this is a call in response to that. Onward.
You done missed the mark on this one, man. Fucking somebody else's wife is the original dark art. You can't be telling 23-year-olds to run around fucking other guys' wives, even if their dick don't work because they got caught in like an escalator accident. That's not the way this fucking works. That 23-year-old, man, you're young. You don't know what the fuck you're doing yet. You don't know what you're dabbling in. You got some 39-year-old nice lady wants to fucking touch your hang-dang, and that's great, but fucking put the phone down. Actually, delete her number and then put the phone down. If she ever needs to make that arrangement where her and her husband are going to find some guy for her to fuck, they'll both be a part of it. She's slipping you in on the side, and you don't fully realize how fucked 8 ways from Sunday that really is. In a couple years, I think you'll probably figure it out, but right now, there's fucking plenty of pussy in Florida, wherever the fuck you're at.
And everywhere can be Florida if you want it to be. If you're caught up in enough dope or whatever, bad sun, if you got a lot of sunburn or, plausible sun cancer or something, anybody, you can make Florida anywhere. You get a pack of menthols and lay in a yard, and that's Florida. But yeah, you know what? That really is a good suggestion because, and maybe I have failed this youngster, but I was saying that you should present it to the husband and just make sure that he is in on the good with it so that you guys aren't milling around behind his, hurt back or whatever. I don't know exactly how to phrase that, but so you aren't milling behind his, so he's not just sitting facing one way, facing the window or whatever, and you guys are back behind him. Because, yeah, that's going to, well, here's the thing. If you do it and you don't get some approval first, then you're definitely going to make some bad karma for yourself. And karma has a long memory. Karma keeps a list, dude. Karma has a lot of ink, and they're going to remember what you did. So, yeah, maybe I think you're right. I think maybe to take this man's suggestion as opposed to mine, even though I think mine was that you should get some approval, go meet with the paralyzed man and get his well wishes first. That would be the manly thing to do. Talk to him face to face and say, look, this is what's going on. And it may be a little odd that the woman chose you and didn't choose a man more her age. But I don't know what she's into. And I'm not sure how old the paralyzed man is either. So a couple of different X factors. They call those X factors. Let me tell you guys this, though. I'm coming up to Omaha. You know that. Phoenix, all those tickets are on sale. TheoVon.com/tour, TOUR. I also want to tell you that today's episode is brought to you by MeUndies. You know, Christmas time is a great time to have something under your tree. And a lot of people under their tree, they have, well, under their body, they kind of have, not under their body, but in the middle kind of under part of their body, they have their crotch. And the best thing you can put your crotch in is MeUndies. I'll tell you that. I put my crotch into some real temperamental situations. And the softest and most reliable and trustworthy thing I've ever put my crotch in is MeUndies. MeUndies are special underwear, the best underwear. They use micromodal fabric. It's 3 times softer than regular cotton. Dude, it's basically space fabric. Think about going to space. Now think about wrapping some of that space around your junk. Buzz Lightyear. MeUndies releases multiple fun prints each month, and they have matching socks and bralettes, in case you are a woman with breasts or a man with breasts. There's a 100% satisfaction guarantee. You're going to love these undies. And if you're not into them, just send them back for a full refund. They also have a new membership program where you can just get that repetition underwear on the, just keep them coming, keep them coming. And to support this past weekend, which I would love for you to do, you will get 15% off your first pair and free shipping and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Go to MeUndies.com/weekend. That's MEUNDIES.com/weekend. Get those undies. Get 15% off. Get that soft crotch cover. Get that hitter. Thank you guys for listening to that advertisement for underwear covers. Let's take another call. Here we go.
Hey, Theo, this is your boy Chris here in the eastern part of the state of Kentucky.
What's up, Chris, in eastern Kentucky? And I remember, you know, you sound like an old friend of mine. When I was growing up, not everybody could read. And this isn't any shot at you, Chris. But when I was growing up, not everybody could read. I remember you'd see people standing around just holding a book in the air, just pointing at it, you know, thinking it was supposed to do something, or thinking it was like a, you know, just like a hard, you know, square something, but they didn't know what. And so I don't think we realize, dude, I remember they had a man in our town who tried to only teach a teacher. He tried to take it easy and only teach half the alphabet to his class. And then all the words he gave him on tests and using sentences in the class only were from the first half of the alphabet. And they fired him because he was trying to make life easy on himself. But think about that, you know? So just don't take it for granted if you can read or spell, you know? Onward, Chris. Thanks for calling.
Just wanted to let you know, you're always asking what kind of callers or what kind of listeners are out there listening to you. Want you to know you got a lot of truck drivers listening to you, which including myself.
Oh, hell yeah. We got to play that horn again, bro. Onward. Oh, yeah. One more time.
Just, you know, pre-Theo Vaughn, I get tired, have to pull over, take a nap, whatever. Now, I just turn that podcast on, get that hit up, and keep on trucking. Just turn that podcast on, get that hit up, and keep on trucking.
Amen. Fuck yeah.
Hey, Theo, we really appreciate everything you do for us, all the appreciation you give to us, and just keep on keeping on. Thank you, partner. Hey, Theo, this is your boy Chris.
Hold on, I'm going to go right to the end of that and get that horn one more time, dude. I want that horn, baby. I used to love it.
Including myself.
Yes. Thank you, Chris. And I hope you were honking at a damn Subaru. You know, I hope you were honking at just a bunch of dang youngsters that were trying to do coke off the dashboard, and you just really wrecked up that 8-ball. Yeah, man, I wonder what it's like out there sometimes. You know, when I was young, we would drive by semis, semi trucks. And we'd always, you had to show, I don't know if it was show your junk or you had to do like this with your hand, make that pull down sign, and they would sound that horn off. And one time, man, I'll never forget this, man. They had a lady driver, and I'd never seen one. And I don't know who the first female trucker was, Jericho Janet, or probably had some, wild name. But she had, I swear to you, man, I swear to you, she had the biggest titties. Biggest titties, Dave. Big titties. Big titties. Oh, big titties. Knock, knock. Who's there? Big titties. Bro, she had them hefty bang bangs. You feel me? Where's the beef? And I remember this, dude. I remember seeing 2 times I seen some nudity. And this was one time this lady lifted one of them big tanks up to her mouth and tried to lick the nipple. Tried to lick her own nipple with her tongue and couldn't do it. That's what I remember. She couldn't pull it off. She was trying to do a little bit of that, Cirque du Soleil, and she couldn't pull it off. But I love it, man. Thank you guys for hauling stuff back and forth. Everybody wants to just pretend that things automatically get places. That magic moves things around. No. People do. Decent people and semi-decent people. Thank you, Chris. Literally, semi-decent. Bad joke. But thank you, man, and drive safe out there, dude. And if you got to go out in a blaze of glory, dog, here's what I say you do. Fill the back of that semi with gasoline or kerosene, light that bitch up, and drive straight into the enemy. And who's the enemy? Pick one. Whoever you want it to be, brother. Let's take another call. Here we go.
Hi, Theo. My name is Shelly. I'm calling from Colorado Springs.
Hey, Shelly. Thank you for calling. Merry Christmas to you. Onward.
I'm going through a lot. I just recently found out that my husband has been cheating on me. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3 small, perfect human beings, and I'm trying to navigate now through life without this man that I thought was perfect. So I mop and clean a hospital at night when the kids are sleeping and trying to figure out how to make an income to survive on my own. It's really a struggle, and your podcast and listening to you and your humor have really helped get me through it, and I hope you never stop being you because you are so helpful. And I just wanted to say thank you because it just seems like every time I listen to your podcast, it's like talking to a friend.
Well, that's sweet of you to say that, and thank you for working hard, so your kids will have some opportunities. And thank you for not, I never been in that situation where that's going on. I'm not even brave enough to get into a marriage, but, I could imagine that when you get into that situation and you get divorced or separated or whatever, that some people probably, it's probably an opportunity to really give up on yourself. To fail, you could fail, to even failure to fail your children, because of just the pressure and maybe feeling, the rejection that, your husband may have made you feel. But I bet it's pretty powerful for you to stay in there and keep your head up and keep moving forward. I think it's pretty amazing. And it's kind of neat because it's almost like I get to talk to my own mom for a second back then. And, if I had any suggestion, I would just say, just make sure to just spend a little bit of time extra with your kids when you can, one-on-one, so that they feel, a personal connection with you. Laughing with them, that can help. As long as y'all are laughing, it doesn't matter. And that's it. And that's all I know. But it's nice of you to say. It's really nice of you to say that. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being a hardworking lady and I think a lot of good opportunities are going to come your way. Merry Christmas to you guys. Let's take another call that came in here. Here we go.
Theo, this is Dylan from Central New York, calling in after hearing you ask about experiences with animals during sex. So I've got a 6-month, 7-month-old pit bull, and my girlfriend and I always have a problem where if we decide to get it on, this dog straight up starts pulling blankets off with his paws. He can't control himself. He just starts going ham on her.
He wants to fuck, brother. I mean, if you're fucking, he wants to as well, brother. Onward.
Sometimes even me. I've had him literally lick my balls, lick her asshole, anything. He's fucking...
Did you have to say asshole? You could have just said ass. Let's hear more. Thank you for calling.
An animal.
He is an animal.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but it's also uncomfortable. I don't know what to do about it. 7 months old, and he's hornier than me. Anyway, love your shit, and appreciate listening to the podcast. First time calling in. Hopefully it gets on the show.
Yeah, it did get on, man, and thank you for calling in. And I'll say this, brother. Yeah, he's 7 months old. But imagine if you were 7 months old and could fuck like that dog can. Imagine that. Like when we're 7 months, we can't do anything. We can barely hold a titty. You could barely hold a titty in your mouth. But imagine that at 7 months, you can do work. And on 2 legs, a pit bull, it'll rip a kid's face off in Florida with one side of its body and fuck with the other. They're multifaceted. So just imagine that. And if you were 7 months old, imagine a 7-month-old baby that could fuck. It would be fucking everything, but it can't. God doesn't want to put that much power into a baby. If something were that cute and could fuck, everybody would fuck it. There's no hot chick out there that wouldn't honestly fuck a 7-month-old baby. And I don't mean that in a perverted type of way. I mean that in a straight up real way. That something as cute as a 7-month-old baby that could that had a AP on it, adult penis, and could really throw some meat, boy. Yeah. So, but thank you for calling, man. And look, I would get you a little chain link or something. Get you a little chain link fence even inside. I lived in a neighborhood and they had some people down the street from us, and the man was an Elvis impersonator, and he ended up, I think he died probably. I never saw him die, but when I first met him, I knew right when I met him he wasn't gonna live very long. But they had chain link fence inside their house because they wanted their dogs to be able to be inside, but only in certain areas. So you could also do a fence in the house. Onward, let's take another call.
Hey, what's going on, Theo? This is Tanner from Texas.
Tanner from Texas, man. Thank you for calling, brother. Merry Christmas to you.
I had kind of an opposite sober situation right now. I used to smoke a lot of weed back in the day, and found out I was having a kid, and she's a year and 2 months now. So I stopped smoking weed to get a good job, support her, and it hadn't really bothered me too much recently, I don't know, everything kind of feels boring when you're stuck at home and you can't smoke. It just feels like there's nothing to do. So just gonna see if you had any advice, I don't know, suggestions, maybe something I could do with my time. I don't know. Everything feels boring now when I can't. Besides hanging out with my kid, of course. But
no, I appreciate the call, brother. Someone told me one time, if you're bored, you're boring. And you got to make stuff for yourself to do. We live in an exciting world. There's exciting opportunities. There's information everywhere. You got a baby right there. Look, I agree. It's probably fun to get high around a baby, on weed. I don't think you should do coke or anything else psychedelic by a baby. But if you and the baby are in a safe place and you want to take one hit off of something, I understand it. I could see how it would be enjoyable. But with that said, you got to make your own excitement in the world. And you might be just at one of those little plateaus in life. You know, brother, I'll say this, that there's a lot of just little plateaus in life where you just get a little bored. You know, even coming home this holiday season, it's like everything was a little bit of a plateau, kind of. Like things are, you know, nice. My family's all healthy and everybody's doing good. And, you know, my little niece was, you know, won an award at school. And my little nephews are like turning into like different humans and, you know, a lot of neat stuff. But, you know, sometimes you just hit like, you go back to a place and you're like, oh, it's you know, it's just, I've hit a plateau or something. Like, kind of like, you know, whenever you come home from college in the summer a bunch and it's fun and then you come home, you get out of college and you still come home once in a while and it's not as fun. People started getting married and things started changing and not as many people come home for the summer. And then like eventually you come home when, you know, you're still somebody who comes home around the holidays and nobody's really around anymore. And you're like, well, what happened? And it's just life, you know, life just happened. Everything's still great, but it's just, it's different. You know, and that could be what's going on. Maybe overall you're just having a moment where you're having you're being able to look at things a little, like things are different. Now, with that said, you also might just want to fucking get some Fortnite or something going or get some Red Dead Redemption. I'm thinking about buying some video games. So, you know, but I would also spend this time enjoying it with your little one. Do some face painting, do some massage. They got a thing on the internet, how to safely massage your child. You know, they have a lot of stuff like that. You could do outdoor kind of strength and conditioning work. I don't know how strong the baby is or if the baby, you know, enjoys, you know, you think has a future in athletics. But I saw some stuff on YouTube. What else? Do haircuts. They got all kind of fun haircuts you can do on a child and yourself. What if y'all did matching cuts, matching outfits? I think it's a great time to embrace your child's youth and do some exciting things with it. And if you're getting bored, man, I would say challenge yourself. You know, one good way is to challenge yourself. And another thing is just do some contrary action. If somebody asks you to go do something, instead of thinking, oh, man, I don't want to do that, that's boring, just say yes. Even if it's something small or something silly, something that sounds dumb to you. Because if you do some contrary action, things will change, you know. But whatever's going on, you have to change things. You have to be the catalyst, that catty cat. You know, nothing changes if nothing changes. You know, nothing changes if nothing changes. Let's take another call, but thank you for calling, brother. And make sure you be a good parent first. And it sounds like you are. It sounds like you love your kid. It sounds like, you know, you just got some youth going through your veins. And try not to do a lot of jerking out. Let's take another call.
Hey, Theo, what up? This is Leah calling from Dallas, Texas.
What up, Leah? And I'll be there January 26th through the 28th in Addison. I'll be back. Onward.
I was calling because I just finished listening to your podcast. There's something about Mary's. And the guy was asking if he's gay because he likes things up his ass. And it just made me laugh. I had to call in and say, because my friend is a nurse. She's an ER nurse. And she tells me stories constantly about men that come into the ER. It's sometimes women, but mainly men who come into the ER because they have something, they were like putting something in their ass and it got stuck and it's trapped and they have to like do surgery on it or most of the time because it gets so far up in there.
Oh yeah. And they used to say you playing when I was young, they say you playing Happy Meal. If you were hiding stuff in your butt when I was young, they say you playing Happy Meal. And they say, what you doing over there? Playing with your Happy Meal. And that's when I was real young. You know, and if they said you were playing with your Happy Meal, that meant you was playing with your butthole. You know, doing something you shouldn't be doing with your butt. And here's the thing. People's buttholes, it's like a secret area. It's like a cave. It's like a mystery area. If it were in front of you, you'd look in there and go in there and hide stuff in there. But it's around back of you. So if you put something in there, sometimes you don't know where it is. You know, it's kind of like a trapper keeper, but it really doesn't let you have your stuff back. And buttholes is magical and unique. You know, it's really the last realm, because people aren't really doing that much sex anymore, as much vagina sex as they used to. So they're doing more, you know, anal sex or butt sex. And then once that's done, what's next? After that, we're just going to be virtual reality, or people are going to get a new orifice, I think, installed on their body. And I don't know where that would go. It could be underarms. It could be the side of your thighs. It could be something you hook on the front of your head and people fuck that or whatever. But a lot of unique opportunities out there. Let's take a little more of your call.
They can't get it out. And a lot of times, like, the guys will even come in with their wives. Like, this one dude was, like, jacking off on the toilet or something and, like, stuck a little toothpaste holder or toothbrush holder in there. And it got stuck up his ass. And his wife was in there with him.
Oh, yeah. And that's that long floss. That's that long floss right there. Well, yes, his wife came with him, because here's why. If he doesn't bring his wife in, then the people in there are going to say, this man's gay. He's a gay man. He's in the, you know, he's doing cocaine and stuff like that. He's, you know, doing perversions. You know, he's back behind the shonies jerking off. When I was young, they used to have men would go meet up behind, or not meet up, but they would go park behind the Winn-Dixie and masturbate sometimes and cry in their trucks. But those days are over, and I guess this is the new that. Hiding things in your butt on the toilet. So, you know, every time you want to think humanity's really going a long way and this and that, they're not. They're, you know, we're really just people that like to play with our, you know, that Happy Meal. You feel me? Oh, you over there playing with your Happy Meal, huh? I mean, because honestly, that is the final frontier. Let's take one more call here. Here we go.
Hey, Theo. Hope you're doing good. This is Evan from Boulder, Colorado.
What's up, Evan? And we got a lot of calls coming in from high altitude this week. And I don't know if that's could be where the earth is or shape, you know, what's up with the, you know, I don't know. Shit. Let's hear more.
So I noticed you talking about how you and your brother weren't very close for a very long time, and how you just recently begun sort of a new relationship, almost, it seems like. Well, me and my brother are like 11 years apart, and we've never been that close. He lives in Texas right now, so I don't even get to see him very often. So I was just wondering, maybe some of the things you and your brother did to become closer and to develop a better relationship. If anyone else could chime in on that, that would be great too. Thanks, Theo. Keep up the good work, man. I've been listening to this podcast for a while now, and it is by far my favorite.
Thanks, brother. Gang, man. Gang, gang. Merry Christmas to you, bro. Gang, bro. Triple gang. You know, I think it's sweet that you want to have a better relationship with your brother. I think expressing that to him would be a good place to start. You know, just telling him flat out. I mean, sometimes it's hard to just say that kind of stuff. You know? Say, hey, you know, I'd like to have a closer relationship with you. Man, that's really gonna probably hit him right in the heart. I think creating like one thing that he and I do is, you know, we both like the Saints. We have a common bond there with the New Orleans Saints, and we'll talk about the Saints games. We talk about growing up. We talk about things that happened when we were young. We try to get each other things that are meaningful for Christmas, you know, the holidays. Do things like that. You know, my brother sometimes he has some tough moments sometimes when he looks at pictures of himself from being young, and he's not happy in any of them. He's not smiling. He's not showing any emotion. And so I got him this year. I got him a little jacket, or a little sweat jacket, not a sweater, but a soft hoodie, and it says "Kid Dynamite" on it. And it's nice. It's a cool like piece from this company Roots of Fight, and they have some really neat stuff actually. And but I saw that and I just told him, I said, hey, and it was hard. I told him, I said, hey, this is, I know sometimes you don't know if you were, a fun kid or not, or if you were having fun when you were a kid. So I got you this because I wanted you to, to think that you were. And it was funny because that was my plan. And then I gave him the gift. And right before I was going to give it to him, I'm like, man, I'm not going to say all of that gay shit, I ain't saying that shit to the dude. I'm just going to give him the damn, jacket piece. But I said it. I didn't really say it as direct as I wanted to. I kind of said it not in passing, but, he was sitting down and I was standing up. And there was a lot of commotion in the room. But I did say it and I made sure that he heard me. And just let him know. So I think something like that, like no matter what you're doing, make sure your message is heard. If you just try to call him, you can try to make efforts, but sometimes, like to call him, every once a week or to spend time doing that kind of stuff, or maybe make a plan to visit. But I think just letting him know straight up, I'd love to have more of a relationship with you. What do you think we can do? And that's mano y mano. And right there, he's probably going to feel a lot of respect for you, even just as a man. And especially since he's a little bit older than you. But I wish you the best with that. And I think the fact that you're even calling, you even care that much, that's good stuff. Because brothers can do a lot of things to each other that other people can't. I mean, who else really can honestly tickle the diarrhea right out of you? And that's a brother. That's a brother that can do that. Y'all could also get matching hats or do some shit like that, like they do like in Norway and stuff. Them dudes will get matching hats and they'll get a belt that keeps both of them in it. So you'll see them, but they got one long belt and they're, both in the same belt. Like, what in the fuck, bro? But that keeps them close. You could get a necklace that's really long and both you guys wear it at the same time. There's some, those are more, those aren't as scientific ideas, I don't think, but those are a little bit more, old school kind of German ideas almost. But I wish you well, man, and I think that this is a time of year where you can let somebody know you care, and it's not awkward. It's a beautiful time of year, and I am thankful to you guys. I'm thankful to my producers. And I'm looking forward to an exciting year next year. And people ask a lot of times, well, Theo, when are you going to do another Netflix special? And nobody's offering that stuff. So if it gets offered, I will consider it. But until that kind of stuff gets offered, it's nothing I can address, What else? Any other questions people have been asking a lot of? Oh, King and the Sting, Christmas Day. So be prepared for that. It's coming out. And we're looking forward to giving that to you. And with that said, man, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Thank you guys for being here for me. I'm happy to be a part of your lives. And I hope you have a lot of joy this year. Today, tomorrow, whenever. I hope like that young man that just called in, if you have, a sibling that, if you're that older brother of someone, reach out to them. Maybe the voice of this young man. Let's go back to his call.
For a very long time, and how you just recently begun sort of a new relationship, almost, it seems like. Well, me and my brother are like 11 years apart, and we've never been that close. He lives in Texas right now. So I don't even get to see him very often.
Who is that in your family? That the young man that's calling here. There might be one of those in your family or in your life. Somebody who wants to have a better relationship with you. So instead of, letting the member of your family end up calling in here, which I'm glad that this young man did. Let me catch his name again.
Hey, Theo, hope you're doing good. This is Evan from Boulder, Colorado.
Evan. So there's an Evan in your life somewhere who wants to get in touch with you, who wants to talk with you, who wants to be closer to you. So, cut them off at the pass. Reach out to somebody. Tell them you love them. reach out to somebody, tell them you care. Give somebody an extra hug. Tickle the dang diarrhea out of somebody. It's that time of year. Merry Christmas to you and yours. I'm not sure if we're going to have a regular episode next week. We may. I'm just not even sure yet. But I'll see you guys in New Orleans, and then I'll see you guys in Omaha and Phoenix coming up. And Australia, I will see you guys in May. Those aren't on sale yet, I don't think. But Merry Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy anything you celebrate. And I love you guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.